Hey everybody, welcome back to this Extreme Warfare Revenge series where myself, Andy, the commentator, playing through Extreme Warfare Revenge, just booking a year's worth of PWG, and we'll get to the end of the year and see what happens. We may carry on, we may not. Anyway, just a quick recap where we got up to at the end of the last episode. So we announced that Ric Flair was going to be debuting in PWG, believe it or not, if you haven't watched the last video. So that's what's going to happen in this video. So in this video, I'm hoping it's going to be a fairly quick one. I'm just going to do the next two Warfare episodes, and then the following video after that we'll do the go home show for the big monthly event where we will see Ric Flair's last match for the 10 millionth time. Anyway, I just need to check one thing before we actually carry on. How many weeks have I got left on the Warfare contract? 7 weeks, so we've still got a little bit of time before we need to think about maybe renewing that contract or trying to find a new network. Anyway, so yeah, as I said, the last show that we did, it was this one. So yeah, Excalibur there announcing that Ric Flair would be here. That's going to happen next week. So we'll do that when we get to it, which is hopefully going to be soon. We've actually click next day. So let's see. So we've got the latest rating. Ric Flair's now to retire. We know that. And yep, NJPW announced 2 rosters. I'll keep that email just for now. All right then. Let's get to the next Thursday. So yeah, we're gonna do 2 shows in this episode. Just for full disclosure, well, I'm recording this on the 19th of March 2024. So if I say anything or make reference to anything that ages badly, then you'll know why, potentially. Don't care about that or that or that for that matter. Right, where are we in the pecking order, actually? So we're the 11th biggest company in North America. I want to say the world, but it's North America because, yeah, you can have Canadian, Mexican, and American promotions on this game. So there's no, I mean, I suppose you could create British promotion if you want, but when you select where it's based, you can't pick Britain. So there's no. So if you did want to put Rev Pro, for example, on this game, you could do, but you can't say it's a British promotion. How are we actually looking in terms of public image? So 20% cult. So we're doing okay. We made money last month, didn't we? Yep. Right, okay. I've got something planned potentially for the next episode. I'm not gonna do it in this episode because, like I said, I just want to get the next couple of shows booked. So in real life, we're well on the road to WrestleMania. No matter how jaded I get as a fan, I do get jaded sometimes. I've been watching it fairly religiously for about 25 years. I do. I always manage to muster some excitement around WrestleMania. It kind of, even if the main event was like Nia Jax versus Indy Hartwell, I'd probably still get excited about it. Because that's the kind of dude I am. Anyway, 14th of March. So almost reflective the date as I'm recording this. So this is the next show. Right, before I do this show, there's one thing I need to do actually. And I alluded to this in the last video. So at the start of the game, I got rid of all the. If you haven't watched this from the beginning, I got rid of all the monthly events. Because we did for the first month we did a weekly model, so I need to put the event names back in. I'll do it as we're going along. But the March event was called Time is a Flat Circle. Now, apart from the fact I think that name sucks, I want to do something. Now we're doing the Ric Flair retirement angle, even though it's not an angle because it's happening. Then I want to call this something to do with Ric Flair. And I was trying to think. I've been trying to think what to call it, and in the end I've come up with, see if you can guess before I type it in. There's no way you're going to be able to unless you're going to get in my head, and if you can, I feel for you. But yeah, we're going to call it The Last Rodeo. You know, because he was a horseman, horses, rodeo. Yeah, I know. Wasn't really worth the build-up, was it? But I was going to call it High Spots and My Spot, but I thought that may have been a bit too on the nose. So, yeah, The Last Rodeo, I don't know. Horse, as I said, Ric Flair, horseman, rodeo, horses. Move on. Right. So let's book this show. So we'll kick things off with the man himself. So we teased it in the last episode, or Excalibur did, that Ric Flair was going to show up tonight. We're paying him $90,000 a month, so we might as well get our money's worth. And of course he's going to live up to his nickname, Limousine Riding. Or one of his nicknames. Well, I say his nickname. One of his part of his catchphrase wasn't his nickname, was it? Please welcome from Charlotte, North Carolina, Limousine Riding Ric Flair. Doesn't quite work, does it, that one? Okay, there's more than just Ric Flair's debut though going on at the minute in this wonderful company. So the next segment is going to be a brawl, the continuation of the Kushida and Timothy Thatcher feud. It's actually a while since I last recorded. It feels like at least a fortnight, so I need to refresh myself. Other than the Ric Flair deal in the title picture, which even that's a bit sketchy, I need to reflect what's going. I need to remember, sorry, what's going on. So we want the held apart from brawl, which is under H, believe it or not, for held apart. I thought it was under T for some reason. You can tell it's been a while. So Kushida's going to square up to Thatcher. Now, I did kind of retcon the original plans I had because of the Flair thing, but I think we can get back on track after that's done. Now, the last episode, of course, saw the debut of the Powers of Pain, the Barbarian and the Warlords, and this company really is unrecognisable at the minute from from the usual PWG. Not that I'm a PWG expert, but I imagine wrestlers like Ric Flair, the Warlord, and Barbarian don't show up very often, but I may be wrong. So, it's going to be a tag team match. We're going to dust David Starr off and his partner, whose name I can't remember. JT Dunn, is it? Not JTG. JT Dunn. And they're going to take on the perennial job guys. I need to get rid of these two. Not because they're... I mean, to be fair, I'm only really keeping them about because if I ever need a tag team to beat, these are the guys I turn to. But yeah, so the Juicy Product take on the Rascals, and this match is not going to have a winner. And again, we're building to something slightly longer term. I'm not going to give too much away. It's a draw. No contest or interference. And that's the Barbarian and the Warlord. So they're not even going to help the heels. They're just going to ruin the match. And no, we've got an option for run-ins here. But yet, if you look at that, not really. We'll pick continue brawling. And I'm going to pick. I don't know if they're actually going to run in here because normally if you can't pick something, it's greyed out. But I'm going to pick that Crime Time come in here. I mean, the idea of Aftermath I wanted was Crime Time to kind of run the Powers of Pain off. But yeah, I suspect that's not going to happen. Anyway, we'll say that it does, just because it ties into the narrative that we're trying to tell. Speaking of the Rascals just being job guys, that's why I'm just keeping them around. We've got another one here. It's going to be Trey Miguel against the world champ, Congo Kong, so we'll just give the world champ a win just to keep him ticking over, ready for his big title defense. Will it be his last rodeo? I don't know. No Aftermath, no, it just beats him. And no real purpose to that match, other than just to get the champ on television. Right. Next up we've got... So a continuation of a kind of two feuds merging together. So Mark Andrews debuted. We basically had a battle of Britain between him and Will Ospreay. Who was better? And then Will Ospreay won. Then I think Mark Andrews lost to Bandido. I can't remember what happened now. I think Mark Andrews lost to Bandido. Then Will Ospreay beat Bandido. So now Mark Andrews wants to say, well, anything you can do, I can do, even though I've already lost to him. If that makes any sense whatsoever. I think that's the narrative here. Again, I've retconned a few plans. But I think we can get back on track. In my mind, that makes logical sense because it's transitions from one to another. Okay, the champ was beaten last week. The women's champ, I should say. So, we're now going to announce her next defence. And it's going to be... I want an authority angle because it's going to be Excalibur that's going to do it. So, authority books one-on-one next big event, which is now, of course, the last rodeo. And it's Excalibur. I need to explain the Asuka character. I don't think I did that in the last video, so we'll do that. We'll do that after this show. So, Excalibur even announced that Shanna defends against the person whose name I don't know how to say. That should be interesting. Like 2 segments to go. Here we go. It's the Mia Yim. Right, so this is another one we're building up for the event. So Mia Yim challenged for the women's title at the last big event and lost. Now Katrina and Asuka are in cahoots. I'm going to talk a bit more about this after, because I don't think I explained this one very well in the last video. So it's Mia Yim versus Katrina. So Mia Yim's out for revenge, because it was Katrina who set Asuka onto her. So Mia Yim's going to beat Katrina, but then Asuka's going to attack her after. Run in attack on Mia Yim. Yep. No prizes for guessing where this storyline's going. And last but not least, he's got out of his limousine, and because he's old, it's taken quite a long time to come to the ring, but he's finally going to make his way down here. He's downed a 6-pack of Woo Energy, and he's on his way, and I can't remember what angle this is now. Is it under here? Here we go. Working out of retirement gets challenged. Here we go. So the retirement match is going to be set. So Ric Flair, you can only use this angle if someone has announced their retirement. Like, you get the email saying so and so will retire. So you can't do a retirement angle, if that makes sense. So if we did have, I'm probably over explaining this. It's quite simple. But if we had whoever it may be, so we had, let's say Kushida, and let's say we wanted to do a retirement angle with Kushida. If we pick this work announced retirement angle, but we'd not had the email saying Kushida's going to retire, we couldn't pick him in the challengee thing, if that makes any sense. So that's why we're allowed to this angle. Now, who is going to retire Ric Flair? Who's Ric Flair's last match going to be against? Can anybody guess? I'll give you a clue, we've not used them yet. So that narrows it down. So, Ric Flair's last match is going to be a one-on-one match against Orange Cassidy. Orange Cassidy versus Ric Flair. That's what I've gone for. They're the retcon plans coming in now. Or this is what a retcon plan's for, I should say. I think they should retcon in the right context. I don't actually know. Right. So we're setting up Orange Cassidy versus Ric Flair, and then I think I've got an idea of how to get back on where I was going off the back of that. Okay, let's go. Let's see if the folks at VH1 will enjoy this one. So Ric Flair getting out of limousine is obviously a great segment. That could have been worse, to be fair, given the lack of charisma in that angle. Okay, they gained over us, despite the fact they got their butts kicked for the millionth time. No mention of crime time, unfortunately, but we'll just pretend that they ran in. That was a quite good match, actually. Although they are good workers, those four. Again, decent match, despite the Styles clash, and I don't mean the finishing manoeuvre. Yeah, that's fine. I was hoping that was going to be a little bit better, doesn't matter. Yep, the last rodeo. And that's annoying. That's not, though. Match is rubbish, but doesn't matter. Katrina's stats are terrible. Ric Flair lost 3 points of overness. Well, that's not good. So that segment could have been better, but Orange Cassidy gained 3 points. So I actually changed Orange Cassidy's gimmick as well. Yeah, I've got an idea of how that segment would go. So I'm just gonna before we move on to the next and final show that I'm going to do in this video, I just want to mention a couple of things that I probably should have done in the last video. Oh, 1.5, that's good. I'm sure the last rating was 1.4 something. Well, that's the highest rating so far. So clearly announcing Ric Flair ahead of time put the rating up. That's at least in my tiny brain. Right, JT doesn't should be out of the card. I don't think you should. We got a good rating. Perfect. Right, let's just go back to the roster for a second. Just want to go through a couple of things. So, Orange Cassidy. So I've changed his gimmick to pacifist. Now, in my mind, so obviously that gimmick basically means that I suppose it basically means that you kind of just let things go and you don't really agree with violence unless you're provoked into it. Now, in my mind, what would happen there is in the last segment, Flair would come out, Cassidy would challenge him. Flair would take umbrage by saying, "Oh, you know, just because I'm old or just because I'm retiring doesn't mean I can't still whoop your ass," whatever he wants to say. Woo, probably while he's saying it, and then he'd slap Orange Cassidy, and Orange Cassidy his demeanour would change and be like, "Well, you know, you've done it now, old man," sort of thing, and then he'd yeah, basically. So that you know, yeah, so the slap on Orange Cassidy would kind of wake him up and kick him in. I think there'd be a good little verbal exchange where Cassidy's kind of been a bit dismissive and a bit like, well, you know, and then Ric Flair takes offence and stings him into action. If you look at Flair as well, I actually hide him as a tweener, which I think will work. I think works in this context because some people would, some indie fans, this is essentially what this is, an indie point. Some people would boo him, but some people would cheer him because he's obviously a legend in the wrestling industry. So I think that could work. And obviously Cassidy is supposed to be a babyface, so I think that's a good little dynamic. The other thing I wanted to mention as well, which I didn't mention, was Asuka and Katrina. So I changed their gimmicks, but didn't really mention it. So Katrina's now a city slicker. So basically, she's a businesswoman. That's essentially what I'm getting at. So she's gone from, so she gets in the ring, gets beaten, doesn't like it, doesn't want to get her hands dirty anymore, and kind of storms off. So she's now a businesswoman. And Asuka, I changed her gimmick to evil clown. So that's basically like that's basically a Kana character, rather than you know, any sort of Doink the Clown thing. Yeah. So the way I imagine this partnership working is I think I mentioned this last time, a bit like Heyman and Lesnar. So she talks and she just stands there and tries to look menacing, or looks menacing, I should say. The other thing as well is what the thing I'd want to get over is snapping her fingers. So, for example, in that last match, once Katrina lost, she kind of get up, snap her fingers like that. I wish that worked the first time. Snap her fingers, then Asuka would attack. So every time Katrina snaps her fingers, Asuka, because they can't communicate, because obviously Asuka's Japanese and Katrina's not Japanese. We'll say that, you know, that's how they communicate, basically. That Katrina talks for her, but then whenever she snaps her fingers, Asuka goes full Kana and goes mental. So that's how I'd imagine. That's what I want to try and get over, the finger snap. So thanks, Righteous, for giving me that idea. Anywho, let's move on. We're going to do one more show. I'm hoping this video is going to be under half an hour. If I stop rabbiting on, it should be. Right, did the public image go up? Let's have a look. No, we stayed at 20. That's interesting. Despite the fact we ran a show. How good was that last one, actually? 64%. So our best show so far has been 68. No Will Ospreay on that last show either, which I just realised. Okay, I'm trying to think if I've kind of set in stone that it's Ospreay and Kong for the belt at the last rodeo. I don't think I have. It doesn't matter, right? No one signed anybody. We'll get Osprey back on this week, I think. Keep checking these emails. Make sure no one's signed anybody, or don't want to put the curse on things, but we've not had any incidents for a while, so that's good. We've now got some signings. Okay. That's interesting. So we need to... Right, let's have a look at those. I'll tell you what we'll do, actually. I'm going to look at those at the end of the video. Let's get this next show out of the way. And then we'll look at those signings. I was hoping we could get through it, because I may do a few signings myself. Alright, see, we've lost Will Ospreay. So that's annoying. So where's Will Ospreay gone? Has he gone to WWE?
That's another thing that's not a coincidence. Ever since losing that title, Hogan and company, well, they promised to do everything.
He's gone to Ring of Honor.
To once again become
Great. That's annoying. So now we're gonna have to. So now we are gonna have to retcon some plans because we've lost our challenger. This is why I don't like people on open contracts. That is really annoying, actually, because I had plans potentially for. I was thinking of actually signing him on a written contract and just paying the extra to get him, because he works for bigger companies. We'd have had to give him a big pay rise, but I was tempted to just do it. Right, I was a bit worried about that happening. I just wanted to get this. I just wanted to get this month out of the way. And then I probably would have released him, to be honest with you, or signed him to a written contract once I've decided. Right, so we're going to need a new challenger now for... We're going to need a new challenger now for Kong. That is annoying. That's really... I'm trying not to swear. Right, okay. I had an angle booked here. We need a new challenger for Kong. So, is there anyone we're not using? Not really, other than tag teams. Everyone else is in the program. Okay, we can make chicken salad out of this. Let's go. Let's do what we normally do. Right, Go Shiozaki. Are you touring? Right, two with Noah. We know that. I meant to check the dates, actually. What we do in March. Tour dates, May. Right, so he's... Right, okay. We're going to go for Go Shiozaki. Right, heel. So we're going to... Needs to be a face. There we go. Right. We'll go for him. That he'll do. Okay, evil foreigner. So we'll change that to foreign star. I don't know. Actually, no, we won't. We'll just leave it as a heel. Screw it. We'll leave it as a heel. In indie crowd, if this was real, indie crowds would cheer him because he's a excuse me, he's the sort of person that people have heard of, but people have heard of him but don't watch it, so they'll cheer. But they'll cheer him. I'm sure that's how wrestling fans operate half the time. They cheer people that they've heard of, but they've not actually seen them. Maybe I'm wrong on that one. Probably am. But yeah, I think he's a bit of a big name. And some people will cheer them because they have seen them wrestle. I'm not saying everybody's like that, but I think some people are. Anyway, let's get this 13th. This is the 13th show, actually. So I think is this the 13th? Yeah, we booked 12 shows. This is the 13th show, so it is unlucky. Okay, let's do this then. Right, let's go. And then I'm going to flick through those emails again and just see who's actually gone where and keep an eye on it, because I don't know if anybody else has been affected other than Ospreay. That's really annoyed me, actually. That has kind of ruined a few things I had planned, but it doesn't matter. Because Go Shiozaki can fill in. And I can put a spin on it. So let's do that now. Right, so we're going to start off with another angle. So Excalibur is fed up of Thatcher and Kushida. So he's going to announce that this needs to end at the last rodeo. So it's Kushida and Timothy Thatcher, and it's going to be a stipulation match. Now, unfortunately, you can't when you put that angle, you can't say announce as a stipulation match. I don't think that really matters, to be honest with you. But they're going to have an I Quit match. That should draw this to an end. Right, we're going to follow up on something that happened last week. So Mr. Andrews is going to battle Bandito that he challenged last week. And he's going to win this time. I think he lost last time he faced him. That's the storyline. But he's going to win because his tag team partner is finally going to debut. So I've had Flash Morgan Webster in the contract for a while, but he hasn't actually debuted yet. So, I'm sure, isn't it Subculture? I've said this, but I'm sure I've said this in old videos. I can't remember if it's Subculture, but yeah, 2-1 and Bandito, so no Flamita to come and help. Debut Flash Morgan Webster. Right, we'll try and heat her whose name She Who Cannot Be Mentioned, because I don't want to say her name. We'll try and heat her up. I can't even say that, let alone her name. Hanny has become a bit of a jobber, which is a shame. I was hoping to use her a bit better, but I haven't. But you've got to have some people. You've got to have some people on the roster to lose. It is what it is. Right, we'll not have Shanna run in and batter her. We'll just have a nice no aftermath. Right, we're going to do a contract signing because wrestling loves a contract signing. And it's going to be for the big retirement match at the last rodeo. We'll set Flair as... For some reason, when you're a contract signing, you have to have an attacker and a victim. So we'll set Flair as the attacker. And we'll set Cassidy as the victim. So we'll do the whole, you know, Flair's running him down, Cassidy's not responding, then he slaps him sort of thing. That's the attack. If that makes any sense whatsoever. Don't know what the hell's going on there. Why has it changed? Don't know. Anyway, there we go. Right. And then more follow-up. We're trying to be logical. I'm also not booking many matches. So call out and brawl. So Mia Yim is annoyed at Asuka. Again, I think everyone can see where this is going. So again, I think for this angle, even though I can't pick Katrina, for this angle, we do the whole Asuka, Mia Yim would call out Asuka. Katrina would walk out. Mia would say, I didn't say you, I wanted Asuka. Finger snap, and then out comes Asuka. And they get into a fight. Okay, so this segment I had planned for a Kong Ospreay a Kong and Ospreay interaction. Could have tied this in as well with the... I mean, I think the United Empire came along after this database that I'm playing with here, but obviously with Kong beating Cobb for the belt and Ospreay then being the next challenger, obviously they were both in the United Empire together, weren't they? So, anyway, could have thrown that in. Anyway, move on. Move on to... So what we'll do this time is we'll do a debut angle. So 2 debuts on one show, unfortunately, but it doesn't matter. Tony Khan in disguise here. It's gonna be single debut. What is it? We'll have attack and title steal. We'll do that one. I don't think I've ever done this before, so let's try this one. So it's gonna be Go Shiozaki, Congo Kong for the world title. So basically, this what had happened in this segment is Kong would come out, he'd break the fourth wall and say, "Oh, Ospreay's ran off. He was that scared to face." Well, he'd say break the fourth wall. Say, "Oh, Ospreay's ran off. He's that scared to face me. I wonder who." And then he jokes something like, "Who are New Japan gonna send this time to come and face me? Because you know I've already got rid of Jeff Cobb. Sent Ospreay packing. Who's next?" And then Go Shiozaki comes out because there's infamously Noah and NJPW, Noah and New Japan infamously have had rivalry. They don't really get on. I mean, it's kind of died off more recently, but for quite a long time, I didn't think they didn't really like working together. As far as I think so, I think that's right. Maybe totally wrong on that one. I don't think I am though. I'm sure there's something that they don't really like each other. So again, it kind of ties into that of, well, New Japan won't send anybody, but Noah will this time. So that's the plan anyway. So Shiozaki debuts, steals his title, and then obviously that leads to the title match at the last rodeo. Right. So 2 segments left. We're going to do an interview with someone that I wanted to appear last week, but they didn't. It's crime time. Shad Gaspard and JTG. It's crime time. Brooklyn. I think that was the music, wasn't it? Okay, we're going to have no targets because they're going to do... They're just going to basically build up this main event. So this main event is for a title shot. So it's a 4-team title. It's a 4 tag team match, and the winners get a shot at last rodeo. So that's basically what the Crime Time interview is. It's for. Unfortunately, we can only pick elimination or TLC. Now, I don't know about you, but I'd quite like to see the Warlord in a TLC match, but we're not going to do it. We'll just do the elimination match. So it's going to be everyone's favourite tag team. I'm hoping the fans are hating this. Not in the go away heat way, but I'm hoping they're hating this sort of Powers of Pain invasion. Because there is something longer term going on here, which you may have had a clue of if you've been paying really close attention. And if you haven't, and you don't know what I'm talking about, good. I do want to try and keep, even though I do explain some of the reasons why I'm doing things, I do want to try and keep things as a bit of a surprise, just to keep it interesting. So the Rascals, Aussie Open, and the Juicy Product, and the Powers of Pain. And the winners will face Crime Time at the last rodeo. And yes, the Powers of Pain are going to win. Perhaps to no one's surprise. So we'll get rid of the Rascals first. But no, we won't. We've got 3 heel teams, haven't we? The Rascals and the Babyface. So the Rascals can stay in. Hope the fans will get behind them, even though they keep losing. So we'll get rid of the Juicy Product first, then Aussie Open, and then the Rascals. Although I think when it gets down to the Rascals and the Powers of Pain, it's kind of obvious which way it's going to go. And that's the show, right. So let's go. That's the show, now let's go. Good. So 88% quality match. So clearly Mark Andrews and Bandido get on really well. Flash Morgan, Davies, you gimmick. So he's got the same gimmick as Mark Andrews because they're gonna spoiler, they're gonna start being a tag team rather than Andrews just being a singles wrestler. I just didn't want to bring them in together, so I thought it would, do a singles program with Ospreay before bringing Flash Morgan in. And as you can see why now I want to give him a singles program, because he's quite good. 88% quality match. That was a better match than I thought it was going to be. That's good. Again, Ric Flair's dying in these segments with Orange Cassidy. This isn't going as well as I'd hoped it would. Although at least Orange Cassidy's getting over, so that's encouraging. I don't want Ric Flair to keep losing over us though. I don't know if it's because he's a tweener if it's not quite working, but anyway, it doesn't really matter because he's retiring anyway. That was a good segment. That was a really good segment. That wasn't a good segment. That was an even worse segment. And you see, the quality of these matches for these guys is actually kind of blowing my mind. Right, not the greatest show. I think old Mark Andrews rescued me there. I've got a lot of British people. I'm not, even though I'm British, I've not done that. That's not the reason why. Unless it's a subconscious thing. 1.69 rating. Wow. That's way higher than the last one. It was 1.5 last time. Right, apparently our ratings are good. Happy with the ratings, good. I'm a bit worried though that after a show our public image isn't going up. I don't know why that's happening. Maybe they're not quite good enough. I don't actually know what causes the public image to go up in terms of show quality. Has it got to be a certain percentage and we're not quite hitting it? So that's something we may need to look at addressing soon, because it is gradually getting worse. But an Ospreay leaving is not going to help. Right, before I end this video now, I just want to quickly flick through and see who signed who and get a rough idea, because we've got one show left. We've got the Go Home show, and then we've got the Last Rodeo pay-per-view. Oh, it's not a pay-per-view, but you know what I mean. And I'm going to do something else in the next video as well, I think, which we'll worry about when we get to it. Right, so let's see what emails we've actually got. Okay, we don't care about that. We don't care about that. Let's just get rid of the ratings emails, and we can flick through the who signed who emails. Okay, got them in the end. Right, so the video signed Colt Cabana again. So, Marty Skrull, interesting. We've got one with Vince, I'm sure. Jay Briscoe's gone to AAA. That's on an open contract though. Kent has gone to AAA on an open. Aerostar. I think we looked at Aerostar, didn't we? Let's have a look. We're already 7 minutes over half an hour here, so Ring of Honor, wasn't it? Ring of Honor has done us over, isn't it? Yeah, Aerostar, yeah. I wouldn't mind him. Anyway, yeah, let's get to these emails, then we can end this video. So, let's have a look. Yeah, Colt Cabana, yeah, we know that, so... Aerostar, who they signed? Aerostar, Ray Phoenix, interesting. Will Ospreay, so clearly going for high flyers. It's Io Shirai an open contract. She's touring, I think, with New Japan. So, well, I think she's touring. So I don't think. Anyway, I think she's touring. So she won't be getting signed on a written. Lance Storm's gone to Impact. That's interesting. Naito's gone to Impact. That's quite interesting as well. Gunther or Walter, would I call him? Sami Callihan. James Storm's gone to CMLL. That's interesting. Togi Maccabee. Zack Sabre Jr. Yeah. Johnny Impact's gone to House of Hardcore, so is he now Johnny Hardcore? I imagine he probably is. Volta and Chikara, that's a match made in heaven. Homicide's left JCW, Masada, MLW. So MLW's got a few in, Ivar, one of them. NGPW signed Rich Swann on a written contract, so he's Masato Yoshino, another Japanese. Apollo Crews. Leo Rush, well that happened in real life, I think, didn't it? Io Shirai's now with Rise as well. How many companies have hired Io Shirai? Because she was already at the Crash. Flamita's gone from Smash to Crash, okay. Why not? Brothers to Bandicoot. Right. Alberto Del Rio, that's his alias, on a written contract, interesting. Rob Van Dam was supposed to sign him in real life. Stu Bennett, well we all know who that is. So that's bad news if you wanted to sign him. Like more ratings I don't care about. Togi Maccabee's a man in demand, certainly in Mexico. Low key, that's interesting. Scott Dawson, don't know where Dash is. Or whatever it's called in Dash or Cash, whatever it's called. Jushin Liger to Impact, and Big Kaz, or Big Bill, whatever you want to call him, to MLW. So a few moves and shakes. I'm going to move and shake my way off this video because my voice is clinging on by a thread, as you can probably tell. So, yeah, so that's it for this episode. So we've nearly got through to the end of March. So we've got one show left before the big retirement angle with at the last rodeo and the title match and all the other things that we've been building up to. So, yeah, the end of this episode. I think two decent shows. The public image is worrying me slightly, but we'll worry about that on the next video. But for this video, that's it. So if you enjoyed this video, then please like and share the video. You can also leave a comment on the video, should you choose to do that while you're here on YouTube. If you head on over to the channel, the commentator, you'll find the rest of the videos in this playlist. So if you're going to catch up with anything that I've been doing, the storylines, etc., then please go and do that. Also, you'll find all the other games I've played through. This is the only PC game so far, so I normally play console games. So if you check out my PS2 games, if you like wrestling, I've done a Crush Hour playthrough. So please go and check that out for the PS2. There's some Nintendo 64, Super Nintendo, Sega Mega Drive / Genesis, PlayStation 1 and 2. So please go and check all that out if it sounds like it might be fun. But join me next time. We're moving on to the go-home show for the last rodeo and then the pay-per-view event itself. But to get to that point, for now from me, it is sayonara.